Online dating is definitely, we're in the COVID world right now, so everybody wants to date, they want to get out, they want to meet someone, but it can be very difficult because we are inside. And again, people are, going through things. So this is why this came up. So let's get going. And if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to ask them as I go through the presentation. It's not really that big of a deal. Okay, so here's the first thing. We're just going to start out with the fact that there are a variety of dating sites, as we all know. And each one of them has a reputation. So I am encouraging you to think about their reputation. Tinder's reputation is a quote unquote hookup site. And if you are a Christian that's very Christian and you don't really understand what that means, it means that these people get on this site for the primary purpose to find other people to have sex. That is the primary reason that people get on Tinder. It doesn't mean that all the people out there are doing that, but it does mean that probably well over 50% of them are. So it is something for you to think about. Now, there's a lot of them. I mean, honestly, there's so many of them that it would take 2 or 3 pages to list them all. The ones that I actually encourage you to look at are the ones that I have highlighted: Bumble, Hinge, and Match. The other ones, Bumble, while there are pros and cons to each one. That's the main thing. And I know that a lot of people might want to head out to the Christian sites, but there are reasons why I honestly don't encourage you to do so unless you just want to go out, take a look, and just see. The main reason for this is what I'll get to on the next page. One of the things to look for in a dating site. Now, if you actually have a computer screen, you might be able to see those 2 different sites information. And one of them is OkCupid and the other one is Christian Dating. I'm trying to see, looks like somebody, okay, hold on. Oh yeah. So somebody was trying to, be admitted, my bad. So anyway, so one of the things that you see with OkCupid is that if you look, I don't know, like I said, if you guys can see that all the way down there, but it says 10 million, 10 million installs. So 10 million is what you're looking for. You look for a lot of people. It doesn't have to literally be 10 million, but it needs to be a lot of people on the site. If you see the next one with the Christian Dating, you are looking at 50,000. Okay. So that is where your problem is with most of the Christian dating sites. It's unfortunate, but many of the Christians, just be honest, they just don't use the Christian sites. They use the, okay, somebody needs to mute their line. If you're not on mute, you need to get on mute, please. Okay, but anyway, that is the main reason why I encourage you to go to the main sites. It's just simply because there's just more people. If you go out to a lot of, like I say, the smaller Christian sites, yeah, the people on there are Christian, but it's not a lot of people. And I know I've tried 1 or 2 of them before, only to end up in a situation where you can be in a situation where the closest Christian to you might be 100 miles away or 150 miles away. So that's really where the problem is, because when it says installs, that's literally what it means. It means an install. It does not mean that these are people that are active. So that's why it becomes a little bit confusing. And so you want places where there are a lot of people on there. And so when you're starting to deal with places like Bumble and Match and Hinge, especially Bumble, there's going to be a lot of people out there. Now, here's one of the things that is really important to understand at this time is that even if you go to Bumble and you decide to, let's say, pay the amount and you decide to swipe right, which, swiping right, again, for those that aren't used to many dating sites, that concept is just that is the person that you want. to talk to. And if you swipe left, that is a person you're not interested in, solely based off of how they look. But if you go out to Bumble and you pretty much swipe right on everybody, I'm pretty sure that after about, let's say, a half a day or so, I'm not sure exactly how long it would take you, but I'm guessing somewhere between 4 and 6 hours, you will run out of people. The reason why this is important is because if you really do your math, you'll find out that the amount of people really on dating sites is only somewhere between 1 to possibly 5, maybe even 10% now because of COVID. Pre-COVID, it was probably more like 5%. The reason why this is important, again, is because it just lets you know there's actually very few people in the online dating world. And they are not a perfect understanding of the people that are out there. So it's just something for you to keep in mind. So that's why lots of people is so important, because you really want to at least be able to go out on a few dates and to talk to people. So you need to make sure that you're with, sites that actually show a lot. And a lot of these sites can be expensive. So like some of the prices, most of them are about $40 a month. And they'll try to give you deals if you book 3 months, maybe like $100. But my advice to you is 1 month. That's all you need, 1 month at a time. Even if you like online dating and online dating works for you, only do 1 month at a time. And the reason why is because people go on and off the sites. They'll find somebody, they will black out their profile, and they might not be on the site again until they break up with that person or they find out that that person is not around anymore. So what happens is if you just do 3 months, then you'll pay for all this money, but then you won't really be getting different people every day or every week. You'll pretty much have the same people. So if you pay for 1 month, you can go out there, enjoy the people that are out there at that time, and then get off of it for a month or two, and then get back on. And by then, more of the people will have kind of switched up a little bit. But one of the things that you will start to see is you're going to see a lot of repeat people, because the people that are generally on one site, they will be on the other side, because these are people trying to find someone. So that is basically what you're going to see. So other things you're looking for is reviews, evidently, great navigation, evidently. And for Christians, because I know this is a Christian group, don't be worried about this thing that's saying all sites are 17 plus, because that's just what they put for dating. So if you're concerned about that, you're like, oh, is this a Christian site, blah, 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 blah. All of them do that. That's not like a rating of like a movie. That's just saying that dating sites are for adults. Okay, so what do you need for your profile? You need 4 to 6 pictures. At one time, we were trying to take pictures here in Atlanta, because I encourage you to have professional looking pictures or very good looking pictures. Because honestly, let's be honest, people are attracted to how you look. So because they're attracted to that, you need to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. This is not quick selfie pictures that I would encourage you to do unless you happen to be a selfie master. So if you're really great at selfies, then yeah, sure, do that. But if not, you might want to look at a pro taking your pictures for you, or you might want to look at just having a friend to do it for you if your friend is a good photographer. And remember, for those in Atlanta, we've had 2 sessions where I've tried to meet people. Unfortunately, both times got rained out, but there should be at least 1 more session before the end of November, where I'll try to meet people out and about. So if you know you need pictures and you know you're interested in this, then that's one of the things that you need to try to sign up for and come out. And you're welcome to stay in your car until it's your time to take pictures if you're concerned about COVID. Excuse me. Now, the main of the 6 pictures, you always want a close up so people can see what your face looks like. You always want to have a full body, and then you might want to show yourself out having fun with friends, something like that. What you do not want to do is you definitely don't want to have pictures where you, especially because there's a lot of women on this call, you and your girlfriends are in every single picture. So if you in the picture and every single time it's your picture, you right there with your girlfriend, That's not good. That's not what you want. And honestly, that's seriously, just as a woman, you really don't want that, because then the guy might be like, dang, her friend look better than her. You know, I don't know if I want to talk to her. I want to talk to her friend. So you don't want to do that. You know, this is about you. So you want to put you out there, right up there out front, so the guy can see you, see what you look like. If you're the type of person that wears makeup, you want to wear makeup in your pictures. If you're the type of person that's natural, then you want to go natural. Whatever it is, you know, you just need to be you. As far as the information, don't lie about the information. Go ahead and fill it out as much as you possibly can. And what that's going to do is that that's going to help you to be able, you know, to get the type of person, you know, that you're looking for. So don't hide. Like this lady, we can see her height. We see that she's saying that she's athletic fit, that she has a bachelor's degree, she's in the medical industry, and she's not even saying she's Christian. She's just saying she's another religion. If you even put on there that I am a Christian here, I encourage you to say again that I am a Christian in somewhere in your descriptions. Because a lot of people, let's be real, they say they're Christian, but they're not really Christian. So if you consider yourself a major Christian, like I go to church, I'm doing my best to be celibate, I am trying to follow God's rules, then you need to write on there, I am Christian. Okay. But if you are just a lukewarm Christian, you go to church every blue moon, then if you have it here and you don't have it anywhere else, then hey, that's cool, knock yourself out. Again, we don't judge here at Christian Singles Connect for all the new people. So if you have judgment, you know, that's on you, but we don't like to do that. I'd rather people be honest and talk about the real struggles of dating than to, you know, try to hide behind this, you know, whole concept of rules and regulations. We already know what the Christian rules are. You get that in church. Okay, so protocols, they just things that you might want to look at. Many times I know women might not want to engage in two true conversations at one time, but I do encourage you to be talking to about two people at once online, because online things can go out very quickly. So you don't want to just kind of bank 100% on one person, especially because you're paying for it. So when you're messaging people, especially for my guys that are online, you want to like or message enough people to have one or two conversations. And women, the same. So how does this work? What does this really mean? Well, I'll be honest with you. If I go out on Bumble, for instance, and I swipe right saying that I like a person, or I think the woman is attractive, I'll probably have to swipe right on about 50 women to get 1 to 2 conversations. If I am on Match and I like about 5 to 6 people, then that's enough to get 1 or 2 conversations. Because the people on Match generally are a little bit more serious than the people on Bumble. And Bumble is more about how you look, where Match is more about who you are as a person.
Man.
So when you're dealing with, you know, once you get into a conversation, you should be fully engaged with that person. So don't waste that person's time. You know, you're either going to talk to that person or leave them alone. Again, I ask people to mute right now unless you have something to say. I mean, if you have something to say, I'm okay with that. But if you don't, then we need to be on mute. But you need to be fully engaged. So what does this mean? So most of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to start off texting. So you're going to be texting through the app. And that means if you see a text come through, you need to reply. I mean, try to reply within an hour. You know, if it's late at night or, you know, in the evening or whatever, you might be able to reply in 5 minutes. But you need to reply. Don't be like, well, I'm going to reply to them tomorrow. Because that's pretty much saying that you're not engaged with them. You don't really care about them. And after sooner, you have to think about what if you were on the other side of that and the person's not really talking to you. You know, just be considerate. I mean, as Christians, we're supposed to be considerate. And honestly, if you really want to try to get someone, you need to be engaged in that conversation. And it is going to be more difficult because now you're texting instead of actually having a conversation, and you can't see the person's expression. You don't know how they feel about everything, and you don't know them. So you have to be fully engaged. You have to be kind of ready to rock and roll. After you've been going on, you feel comfortable with the person, you might want to go ahead and talk to them on the phone. I know a lot of women may be a little bit more cautious about this. This is a time when I would encourage all of my ladies to go get you a Google number. I think I've talked about that maybe once or twice. A Google number is just a temporary number you can get on your phone. It is absolutely free and it only takes 5 minutes. So if you get yourself a temporary number, now when the guy is basically on the app saying, hey, can we talk? You won't have to be, well, I don't feel comfortable. I would like for us to continue this for another day or two. You can just simply be like, okay, sure, here's my number. And then if you don't like the dude, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have your real number. He has your Google number. And if so for some kind of way he's being a jerk through the Google number and he can find a way to get around the Google number, you just drop the Google number, delete it, and go get you another one. Okay, so you don't have to give him your real phone number. The truth be told, I would say a lot of you all need to get just a Google number, period. And even when you meet guys out and about, that's the number they need first. The guy needs to kind of jump through a hoop, in order to get into your world. But that's my opinion, and you guys can do whatever you want to. Okay, the next one is just the interest level. I kind of said that earlier. You want to pay attention to how well this person is talking to you, how quickly they're getting back to you, things like that, because that just tells you how much they're interested. And you're going to run into people that aren't interested. In person, you would know that they're not interested because they'd be rolling their eyes, they'd be checking their phone, but online, you don't really know. So you really need to find out how quickly they're responding to you and different things like that. And you want to try to set up a date within 3 to 8 days because you don't want to be in a situation where, you're starting to, and you can start to have feelings for somebody. And then you're like, man, you meet up with them and you're like, oh, they lied to me, blah, 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 blah. And that's how people get catfished, and you don't want to deal with that. Okay, so here are some mistakes that people make when it comes to online dating. And the number one is the first one. Okay, you cannot dial up Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. Okay, this is when you have unrealistic expectations. The people that have been in the group for a long period of time, they know that I talk about reflections. So for all the people that are brand new to the group, what a reflection is simple. When you think about anybody that you would like to date, if you think about your ideal male, man or woman, and you picture them in your mind, okay, you need to mute yourself if you just came in. Okay. So if you are dealing with, like I said, a situation where, you're thinking about, like I said, your perfect person, and you're seeing your perfect person and you say, oh, my perfect person is Idris Elba. Okay, well, Idris Elba is your perfect person, or Michael J. White, or Justin Timberlake, or whoever. So you're saying, okay, that's my perfect person. Well, think about who is the person on their arm. If that person is you, if you look like that person, act like that person, talk like that person, then that is your person. But if that's not who you think would be on their arm, you're being unrealistic to believe that you could be on their arm. Again, this group is not about fantasies. This group is about trying to keep everybody concrete to actually find somebody for you. So when you're out there, don't try to dial up an unrealistic guy, okay, or an unrealistic woman. So now the guy has to be a perfect height, he has to be a perfect weight, he has to have a perfect job, he has to be the perfect age, he has to be the perfect this, that, and the other, because it's not going to work. Okay, you can dial up people, they're going to fall in line, but what you're going to find 9 times out of 10 is they got a lot of emotional problems. Okay, and they have other issues that you can't see. And you're focusing way too much on how they look instead of who they are as a person. The next thing is when you're online, you have to have twice as much grace as you would in person, i.e. patience. So again, what does this mean? This means that this person is going to make mistakes because they cannot see your expression. Even when you first start texting, they cannot hear your voice. They don't know the inflection. They don't know how you're saying a certain thing. So you have to be twice as patient with these people. Otherwise, it's not going to work. The next thing is lying on your profile. You do not need to lie on your profile. This is the number one thing that people do. They lie on their profile. And I get it. There's a lot of people who want to date in certain arenas, and they're trying to get into that arena. But all that's going to happen is sooner or later, the person is going to figure it out. They're going to figure that you lied to them. And unless they are just smitten with you, that's probably going to be a big red flag, and they're going to be pretty much done with you. Also, some places will allow you to repeat message. Like on Match, you can repeat message. Don't do this. Once a person ignores you, just let it be. Don't worry about it. Don't keep worrying them. Don't say, hey, I'm reading your profile. We'd be perfect together, and try to do that because you just look thirsty and desperate, and you'll just end up getting your feelings hurt. So don't worry about that. Just let that go. One no is enough. And then also kind of, again, the same thing as before, don't lie. I mean, come on, don't lie. If you're really looking for somebody real, don't lie. Don't try to hide your weight, or try to hide your height, or try to, hide the way, your face looks or whatever. Don't do it. I mean, it's just going to send you down the wrong path again, and it's just going to make people upset. So the main thing is honesty is the best policy. Y'all are Christians. Y'all are supposed to be honest people. Okay, so here is the big thing that I talk about a lot with the group that, with the group. And for those people that are new, I'm always talking about the fact that, people are generally single for a reason. And you always need to understand why somebody is single. Well, when people are online, again, they're online for a reason. So you need to understand, why are you dating online? It doesn't mean that you're beating them up. It doesn't mean that they're not nice people, but you need to understand this. This is not always something that you have to ask directly, but you need to be thinking about in the back of your mind. So for instance, a lot of people right now are probably online because of COVID. We're in a pandemic. So that makes sense why they're online. Some people are online because they're busy. They're just really busy. They are business people. They do a lot of traveling. They're constantly in and out. So they don't have the time to go to, clubs or places where they can really meet people. And so because of that, they're online. They're extremely introverted. Introverts hang out online. That's what they do. They want to communicate with people. It doesn't mean they're not nice people. It just means that they don't like to go out. They just moved into your town. So again, they don't know anything about this area. They don't know where to go to meet people. So they're trying to at least start somewhere. Christian, as crazy as it sounds, there are fewer Christians. A lot of Christians don't know where to meet people. So a lot of times they will go to places like this to see if they can find other Christians and like-minded people. And then this is one that you really have to be concerned about. I've actually talked to several people that have had this happen to them, because they will be dealing with a person who is separated from their spouse. They aren't divorced, they are separated. And a person who is separated is not, like I say, they're not divorced. And what these people are doing is they're testing the waters. They're trying to see if, if I go out here, what type of guys / women will be attracted to me. And many of them might even be trying to get into a relationship before their relationship ends. So they never have to deal with the pain of loneliness, and they never have to deal with the issues of the whole concepts of divorce. So you really have to be careful with the separated people. A lot of ladies, especially, that might be a question you want to ask them to make sure, if they're saying that they're divorced or if they keep bringing up their spouse, you want to know if that is over. And honestly, just a pro tip for most of my ladies, most guys will need at least 6 months to get over their spouse before they move on. I would say at least. Now, some people would say 2 to 3 months. I mean, 2 to 3 years. I'm sorry. But I think that's going to be variant from person to person. I would definitely say 6 months though. So just think about that when you run into a guy who's recently divorced. And I'll even admit, for me, I was dating within 3 months of my divorce. And looking back on it now, I really wasn't ready until about 6 months. So, it's just, again, something for you to think about. Okay, so here is the other crazy way in which you can date online. You can date online through social media. This is how the true millennials, there might be a few millennials on today, but a lot of the younger millennials do it. They don't always have to go to the dating site because all of their friends are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it is, and they just slide into the DMs, as they call it. Okay, so how do you know if somebody's interested in you? There's a lot of, people that will have different ways. One of the easy ways to find out if somebody's interested in you is that especially on places like Facebook or Instagram, what they might do is they might like 7 or 5, 6, 7 of your pictures back to back. They might drop quick comments on 2 or 3 of your pictures saying, "Hey, wow, you looked good today on, in this picture," or, "Oh, that was really nice." Try to give you some compliments because they're trying to get your attention. And if you talk back and forth with them through social media and they're attracted to you and they think that, you might be attracted to them, then they might try to slide into your DMs so that they can actually start a real conversation. So this is a way for a lot of you all to do it without being out there. If you are in Christian groups or you're in groups with your church, then you can use it. Okay, Richard has raised his hand. Okay, go ahead and say what you got to say, Mr. Richard. You might have to unmute yourself.